I am Honorable Ademiluyi. I am the member of House of Representatives elect Eti-Osa Federal Constituency. I was elected on the 25th of February 2023 by my constituents who are completely tired of EndSARS killings, Lekki massacre, Lekki tolling, and the rest of it. I am the actual candidate of the Labour Party for Eti-Osa Federal Constituency that won the 27th of May election. But however, INEC has refused to announce me as winner. It has announced a fellow who did not even participate in the primaries as the winner. Be that as it may, I've gone to court, I've explored litigation, and just last week Friday, the Federal High Court, Honorable Justice Lifu, delivered a judgment in which he said that my current suit is similar to a suit I filed before Honorable Justice INEC, and on that basis, in which judgment I delivered in that one, he struck out the matter. But this is not the end of the road for me, and I urge my constituents not to give up. I'm in touch with my legal team. I'll be going to the Court of Appeal, and it's a battle to finish in the final analysis. I want to make a quick comment on the fuel subsidy removal and the suspension of the general strike by the Nigerian Labour Congress. I want to say that the removal of fuel subsidy by the newly inaugurated President Tinubu regime is the most inhuman, wicked, and insensitive policy since 1999. It's a 300% increase in fuel without any concomitant increase in wages or anything whatsoever. But the suspension of the general strike by the Nigerian Labour Congress should not be a surprise to any discerning class-conscious element at all. The central labour bureaucracy, as from time to time, has already capitulated, has become integrated into the pro-imperialist ideology of this ruling class, to the extent that their initial statement was to the fact that they want to fight for concessions. Ultimately, the struggle to defeat fuel subsidy removal must commence from below, from the rank and file of the workers in the workplaces, people in the communities, and students in the campuses. But I cannot comment on this fuel subsidy removal palaver without not delving into the state of my party, the Labour Party. The endorsement of Mr. Peter Obi, who is an out-and-out pro-imperialist element, by this same central labour bureaucracy in the last general election, is the biggest betrayal of the rank and file since 1964. Mr. Peter Obi, during his electionary campaign, did say that he will remove subsidy. That means that if he had been elected, he would have removed subsidy just like Mr. Tinubu has done. But I'm not in any way, I'm not in any way giving support to the Apapa-led faction of the party, which has shown its orientation to the Tinubu regime. In fact, I want to put it on record that Julius Abure, Ibrahim Farouk, Abayomi Arabambi, and Akingbade Oyelekan, who are purported national chairperson, national secretary, national publicity secretary, and national legal advisor of the Labour Party, were the ones who sold my rightfully earned mandate to the highest bidder. I call for their investigation. I call for their arrest by the respective constituted authorities. May I also say that the endorsement of Peter Obi, as I've said, is the biggest betrayal since 1964. And in comparison, an historical comparison, in 1964 and now are similar in every way. The Labour bureaucrats at that time and queued up behind workers behind right-wing elements. And what was the consequence? The consequence was that there was a civil war. First of all, a chaotic general election in 1965, just like the general election that we just had, the most chaotic since 1999. And then there was a civil war in 1966. There was first of all a military coup in Ghana in 1966. Then a full-blown civil war in 1967. We are on the road to the 60s again if the Labour bureaucrats do not change their ways. But ultimately, they cannot change their ways. And that is why I will reiterate our call for a national convention for fresh elections to be held from ward level into leadership, from ward level to the national convention within the party, in which rank and file workers can root out all the imperialist right-wing elements within the party and build a formidable revolutionary labour party that can fight for a socialist Nigeria. Now, let me also add that if the rank and file workers do not take over the labour party, it will become completely lost as a weapon of a right-wing labour bureaucracy and a right-wing populist labourism, which is already emerging in this country. I also want to comment on the Bamishe's case. If you recollect, I'm one of the counsel for Bamishe, who was the lady that was murdered in the BRT bus. The matter is still going on at the High Court of Lagos State, but just as we have seen with the conviction of Chief Adedoyin in Ile-Ife at the High Court of Osun State, calling on the Chief Judge of Lagos State to also intervene speedily in that trial and see how to expedite hearing processes so that the proper convicted individuals should be convicted. We also want to say that those who are still at large should be arrested immediately and brought into custody. We want to also call for justice for the train crash victims. Recently, there was a major massacre, humanitarian massacre, just few meters away from here at Ikeja PWD, in which workers who are going to work were murdered by nobody else but by the combined negligence of Lagos State government and Nigeria Railway Corporation. Till today, nobody has been heard. I mean, the driver of the bus that has been arrested is just a scapegoat. We want to put to account the Lagos State government. I have filed a suit in that respect, and I will continue to pursue justice for those victims. As many of those victims who are interested in justice can equally contact our constituency office, which is at 16 Amadu Ojukutu Street, for further action on that regard. I'm also aware of the bill by the Senate for compensation for victims of EndSARS. While I welcome as a legislator-elect, while I welcome that bill, I want to call for comprehensive justice. There cannot be justice on the basis of compensation alone. What is needed today is a comprehensive justice in which all the officers that were involved in the massacre, in the murder of EndSARS Hotel and Lekki Toll Gate will be investigated. General Buratai is still walking the streets free, and many other generals that were involved in that massacre are still walking the streets of this world free. They should be arrested and prosecuted, and we will continue to call for their arrest and prosecution until the very end. Let me comment equally on the 10th National Assembly Leadership Tussle. The inauguration of the National Assembly, the new National Assembly, will be on the 13th of June 2023. And there are a lot of political fireworks as to who will emerge as the leadership of the National Assembly, both at the Senate and at the House of Representatives. You will now find an unholy alliance between the PDP, the APC, and Labour, and some right-wing Labour elected representatives who have now begun to build a formidable alliance among themselves. As a revolutionary socialist and as a member of House of Representatives on the mandate of fighting for revolutionary socialism, not only for my constituency, the of federal constituency, but also I see the entire country, the entire networking people in Nigeria as my constituency. I do not belong to any unholy alliance. I will stand in parliament. I will continue to call in parliament for an independent voice for the working people of this country. We need a voice in parliament that can begin to demand for nationalization of the oil sector as the final solution to the fuel subsidy removal. And I want to put out a notice that I have launched today what I call the Legislative Revolution Network.